Hey guys, so right now, might be a bit too loud. Turn it down a bit. So right now we're gonna go over puts. This video will be just trying to figure out puts. Uh, what's the breaking point? I'll go over these lines to indicate when it's a good time to enter and exit, or pretty much what am I looking for. I'm going into puts. We'll go off on the profits from past profits. So I'm sure trying to figure out what puts that we did. We did put on XOM, so I guess look at XOM for a start. But I think it's a really ideally good. There's Tesla puts. I think Tesla puts was one, and also Netflix puts was the other one too. But yeah, I think the bigger one was it was Tesla puts. So we'll just look at Tesla. We'll get rid of all this. This was the current. Ideally, we'll just look at this part of the chart. So what's sort of nice about TradingView is there's this replay button. So I like to use this replay button, and let's end it right here. So we have like the time frame in that area. So this is when it fell, and obviously we know it found support right here. So I guess we can go back even more before it, like broke, like had its downtrend. So let's do like right here. I think that's sort of a good start. So first off, when I first indicating a put, the first thing I'm looking at is right here. I obviously when you zoom in, this is a down part of like TradingView. Once you zoom in, the values sort of change because you're changing the X values, like the window of it, so it has less data. So I like to just reset chart view. So it's pretty much the standard data set. But other than that, that's just small details. So right now, the first thing I'm looking at is this guy right here on my bottom indicator. This is my indicator to pretty much determine when it's gonna have its downtrend and when it breaks its support or when it breaks resistance. This is my go-to when something breaks and which tells me to go into it. This up here pretty much tells me my supports, or is something gonna have it's overbought and it's about to have its downtrend. But as of right now, we'll just start from here. So first off, I am looking at Tesla, and if I look at this bottom part right here, see how this purple line sort of intersects this red line right here. I'll make a line right there. Uh, so I mark that price at that line. So that's when it intersected at that line. So that's it's technically it's support. It's like breaking support. Once it breaks below that, I have to verify it for its continuous downtrend. So I do have to look at this 4-hour right here. Am I at the 4-hour? No. I'm still on the daily. But I want to check the daily's resistance, which was like it had a breakout right here. So once this is also considered as a breakout once this orange line crosses this dotted line right here. That's considered as like its breakout. But it already broke out a long time ago, so that data is sort of irrelevant. Um, but I like to save it. That's why you see so many lines on my charts. So that was the breakout. Obviously, it broke out. That's old information. I can use this as its resistance too. This is what I use for my resistance also. So right here, right when the purple line, it's actually purple, when it crosses this red line and the median line right here, that's its resistance. Bam. So we'll use a solid blue line for that to indicate its resistance. So that's the resistance on the daily. So I know it's resistance, and it broke its support because it broke at this price range right here where I lined up. On what day was it? Wednesday the 29th. We'll make a line right here. We'll make a yellow line to match with this yellow support where we started. So now I'm gonna head over to the 4 hour. So I need to verify this with more data points. So I need to go to the 4 hour to get more data from it. Next is same thing. I'm pretty much doing the same thing what I did on the daily. I'm verifying right here. See how this purple line crossed that red line right here? That's indicating its original support. I don't do it right here, right on the intersection. I give it at least one more ticker over to confirm it. So even though it crossed like right here, right in this middle at 10:30, I want to move it over to get like a more solid answer, more verification, pretty much. I'm gonna use that color to be red. So that's my red support. So we have um two breaks. We have a break on the daily, we have a break on the 4 hour, which is really big. Uh Normally once it breaks that red, that's my full indication wanting to just go in. But I still need to verify one more thing, which is this guy right here. So every time a green crosses this black line, or when an orange crosses the black line when it's below here, that indicates its support also. So the downside is there's so many supports that are happening, and we'll make that one. So that orange is meant for this one, and the red support is for this bottom one. So it already broke this red and this yellow. So the thing is, I wouldn't go into it right away because there's also an indication if it holds above this yellow line and breaks above this red and this yellow, then it'll have its upslide. Uh, so now I want to get more data. I go over to the 2 hour. 2 hour right here, right when it crosses this green, it's sort of hard to see. I'm gonna zoom up onto it. See how this green line crosses black line and went down to this dotted line right here, went past below it. That sort of indicates its support on that 2 hour. So right when it opens uh, within the market, so right when the market opened, it had this huge red candle. It broke all supports, like, wow, it broke this, broke this. Oh, I need to put right away. But right when the market opens, generally you should wait for like 30 minutes. So that's when you see like a nice bounce back up. So then we already know that it's right on a downtrend, which is good. Also, I like to verify on the weekly too to make sure it's on its downtrend. Same premise. The weekly crossed that red line, so we have like 3 verifications, which is really good. So we have verification on the weekly, it's on downtrend. We have verification on the daily and the 4 hour. So now I'll make a green line. It's like right on to it. I have to reset the chart. So every time it's me resetting. So when I reset the chart, you see how it looked like it crossed already once I zoomed in, but once I resetted it, it said it didn't. It didn't cross yet. I'm gonna take away this yellow. You see how it didn't cross yet? But when you zoomed in, it looks like it already crossed, so it looks like a downtrend already. So that's why I always reset. It's always important to reset your chart. Also, we can use this information right here. Once that green line crosses this black line, we have a verification on the weekly. It'll hit the 20-day moving average on the weekly chart. So yeah, I'm using the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, and 2-hour. That's majority of the time because I'm mostly doing swing trades. I'm not doing day trades. So if I'm doing day trades, I would be doing like the 1 hour, 30 minute, and 15 minutes. But I don't have time for that though. So now we're back to the 2-hour. Go back to the 2-hour because that's the last time we had it on. We made this trend line because of this chart right here. Right when it crosses this black line and this green line, that's my trend. So now we'll move over to what happens. That's its resistance on this orange line. So if Tesla broke above that red line or this yellow line, then I would have done call. And because it stayed above this orange too. But it didn't yet. It did fake us out a bit of a scare, but it didn't break those parameters. But I have no input yet. So now, next one. So there's that break. So now I have a confirmation break. It's below the daily, which is the yellow. It's below the 4-hour, which is red, and it's below the 4-hour this indicator, because this indicator is considered meant for maintaining its support. So the fact that it broke all three and it broke its trend line on the 2-hour, then I would do puts on here. This would have been my entry point right here. Next is, where would I sell it? What is my target price to sell it? So now I have the verification that it already broke. I'm gonna hide all these lines. I use the 30-minute to know where to sell. So this is when it gets pretty weird. So right when the 20-day and the 50-day moving average, when they cross, those are my target price. I don't have the math to prove these are considered as support prices, but it's been verified pretty consistently. Those are the target prices most of the time. Not all the time, but a good chunk of the time. So 345 is my target price, which is super low compared to like where it is right now. So yeah. So then I would do, for safety measures. I don't know what day this is when we did it. It says it's on Friday. So it's on Friday. It's Tesla. So obviously I'm not gonna do a day trade. I'm gonna do it for next week. To be on the safe side, I'll probably do 2 weeks out on the safe side. So we'll go back to the daily. So imagine I put right here. Then on the next day, it pretty much got close. So already got close to it. Next is, well, it got really close, so I'm trying to figure out, like, will it go down even more? Ideally, once what I'm looking at is this chart. Once this green line crosses this black line, that's generally the time when I want to sell. You can sort of see it right here over on this guy. Oh, sorry, reset. If we look over, I sorry, I accidentally moved the volume. If you look at over here, you can sort of see how you had this big downtrend, and right when the green line intersected with this black line right here, which I call I call it a trend line. That's what I call it. Once it intersects, and this green line is actually the RSI. So once this intersects right here, that sort of indicates a support, and that's why you see the bounce. Even though it's earnings, but it's sort of a nice indicator of finding support. Same thing happened here too. That's its main support. Bounce right back up. But it could break through it and have a continuous downtrend. But ideally, it already got pretty close to our target price. Below 4 hours. So we could wait. Let's see if it goes down another like $5. And then we had this huge break. So now it broke below that 30-minute uh price track. So the fact that it went down that much, I have to go back to my 30-minute chart, and there's another intersection right here. So now I'm like, well, it could go down to 320 now, but it's at 329, which ideally I'm sort of happy already at this point. I would probably sell half and sort of see how much it could go. So we'll just wait. And it found support. So normally at this point, this right when around 10 o'clock. So at this point, I'd probably just sell all of it at this point because it already hit my target price and it got pretty close to the second one. We'll look at the daily. The daily you sort of see it hasn't crossed yet. So long term, it says like we could still hold on to it, see if it breaks below it. Check the 4 hour. 4 hour, no signs of it stopping. We can use the 1 hour because right when it crosses this blue line right here, it's for it wants to have like a return back up. But we'll do it on the premise I'll wait until this green line crosses that black line, and that's when I'll probably sell. So we'll wait for one more day. So we'll go next day, and see we have it curl right back up. So it retested that one old target price, so that became its resistance now. So the fact that it came out retested that price, we go back to the 4 hour, its original breaking point was up here. So it was super high. So yeah. So at that point, it's staggering how it was sold at that point. So even though it happened really quick. I'm sort of curious to see what happens next day. So yeah, it was sold it. Came right back up. It returned. So yeah, because it already got close to our target price, which was 320. It already broke below our first one, which was 345. So then I think that's it. So now it's gonna retest uh its resistance. And from at this point, if I go back to the daily, remember that yellow line that we made on the first intersection down below? It's like near this red line up here. So all the way up here. So at this point, when I see this bounce back up, I would think it wants to retest that 380 once after that bounce that it had. So I'm gonna wait the next day. Next. So now it's just staggering. Oh, okay. So it's sort of over at that point. So it got close to that red and the yellow. Normally that becomes its resistance after it broke. So after that, luckily we sold all the way down here. That I think that was like one of our yeah, that was one of our big returns. That was the 124 return right there. So yeah. Actually I got in earlier too. Actually it says I bought it at 106. So I got it at 105, 106. So yeah, I got it right when it broke the red and the yellow. A lot of times I'm not too worried about that 4 hour orange line that I made because it normally when it breaks those two supports on the yellow and red, that's where my put indication right there. Next is what was my next? ULTA. ULTA was sort of scary because it was a bit choppy. I had to rebuy it back in. I had to double down onto it. So we'll just replay what happened. So yeah, let's replay it. Oh, we had McDonald's puts too. That was like a while ago. So we also had Tesla puts on for February 21st. So actually, I want to go back to Tesla. Yeah, my bad. I'm flopping back and forth right now. So on the 21st, oh yeah, that's when I saw it made a resistance right here, and knowing that it will have a downward trend. I knew this was a resistance because remember, once this orange line crosses this red and this line right here, that's its first resistance. But I knew right when it touches this blue line, that's this topped out resistance right here. So that's why I did puts on it. And it was like a swing trade. That was like earlier one I got a while ago. I want to do XOM, but XOM was pretty finicky. Uh, but we're gonna look at ULTA, ULTA puts. I got this on the 13th. Damn, that was a swing trade. Uh, that was a verified swing trade. Okay. Oh, I can't type. So the date was the 13th when I got it. So I got it on the 13th, and it was like on Thursday, of course, right? Right there. I'm pretty sure that was like a day trade easily. Can't really remember what time I sold it at. Current price it was at spot 359. So yeah, 359. So we're gonna go back to the daily because that's what I use. Reset your chart like always. We have a crossing right here on the daily. We'll do a replay of it. So that was the 13th. So it intersected right here, but I always want have one over to verify it. I think that's fine too. So it broke that daily support based on this guy. This sort of indicated I also have to use this too. So right when that green crosses that black, that was also considered as a support also, which is like the stronger support. I'll make this a yellow also. Hopefully it's not too confusing, but I like to make dash marks for it for this guy. So now that was our daily. We'll go to the 4 hour. So it already broke through the first support and started breaking the secondary support based on these two guys. So now we're going off of the 4 hour. The 4 hour right here, the orange one. We use the orange line for this indicator right here. The solid orange. So the fact I knew it already broke this support, the 4 hour support right here. And if we're using this guy as information, it already broke its original support along with this yellow right here. So even though it already dropped a lot, I pretty much went into it thinking, okay, it already broke the two main indicator supports I had, which is my very bottom. The heavy support it already broke below the 4 hour and it's breaking below the daily one too, which is this yellow dash mark. So that's when I was like, I'll just do a put onto it. My stop loss will be the yellow dash mark is 374.43, and that's sort of the time I would probably get into it. I guess I'll use the 30-minute to watch it as it see what happens. So yeah, there's that break. How low did it go? Still below it, still below it. I'm still waiting. So from there on, is it ready the next day? Still Thursday closing. So it's Thursday closing. So I could either wait till tomorrow or just sell it now. Because it was meant for that same week. So ideally, I knew I would either just sell it on that day or save it for tomorrow. I think obviously I sold it the next day because the price was 359. So I was like, it's already hitting its downtrend. It already stayed below it. So I'll just wait towards the next day so I don't use my day trade. So then we had a little pop in the morning, which we don't panic buy or panic sell in the first 30 minutes because I have to watch it. And after that 30 minutes, I was like, oh, nice. We're having downtrend right now. And is that 359? I think I got a little scared right here after that pop, right when it went down. I was thinking like it was finding support, so I just sold it right here for that swing trade. And there we go. And it just maintained that price for a while. Yeah, it made sense. So I just ended up selling it because it was a Friday when I sold it. So after that, just let go. Uh, but I did had this contract for the next week also. So knowing that I had this contract from last for next week, because I did buy two types of contracts for it. I bought contracts for that same week. I also bought contracts for next week. So when it had this downtrend, I sold it, and it had this pop up, which is sort of fine to me. I used the weekly to verify will it maintain its downtrend. And looking at this indication right here, see how it purple crossed that red line. So that's all I'm focused. Right when I cross that red line for the puts, that's where my weekly support is, which is right on the price of what is it? 374. All right, 374. As long as it stays below 374, I have for next week. So I'll just wait out onto it. So now I'm waiting out because I have for next week. So we'll just continue it. So then it had this uptrend rise right here. Oh, let me go back. I think I went too fast. So I think this is when I entered. It was Tuesday the next week. So when it came up at this price, I mentioned in chat, I was like, hey, I'm going to double down on ULTA right now. Even though it looked good, it looked like it was having like a recovery. But what made me know that it wasn't a true recovery because right here on this 4 hour, you see how the green crossed the black line? That price was when it crossed, it's all the way up on 379. So it's still below its like its original support. So what happens? These supports become resistance. And another thing is on this guy right here, right when this purple line crosses that red and the median right here, that indicates its resistance for the 4 hour. So I have a resistance that's under the 4 hour like heavy support. So normally when that happens, when I have like a support, a price that's under the support all of a sudden became a resistance that's under its original support, which I'll make a line right here, a blue line, which is its resistance. I'm like, I'm going to double down on ULTA. So that's what made me double down on it because knowing that this is sort of a put indication because that's a resistance. But all signs says like, hey, I'm gonna have an uptrend because this crossed up saying that I'm having an uptrend. So right here, even on the 2 hour, right here, right when it crossed, that's its resistance right there. So I'm gonna make a trend line just for that 2 hour, saying, hey, that's the resistance. I'm actually gonna use it right here. So on that Tuesday, I was just waiting till closing to make sure it didn't go above that purple line the entire time. It's like as long as it doesn't go above that purple line, I'm good. So I just waited. So we had that break because I doubled down, and then we had that downtrend. So after that downtrend, I what day did I sell it on? I sold on the 13th. So or no, that was the old one. I sold it on the 19th. So yeah, on the 19th. It was a scary hold for sure because when it came back up, I will I was down 30% during that time. So I was down 30% at that time. I accidentally closed my Discord. So that was sort of a nerve-wracking thing. But it didn't break above that purple line. I sold on the 19th, which was on that Wednesday, which was the best choice. Uh, and I knew when to sell it there because right when this 4 hour, when the green line recrosses this dotted line right here, that indicated support. So the support for this, every time this green line crosses this dotted line and this black line right here, that's a support. When the trend line is super high, which is this black line, if that and the green crosses dotted line, that's a secondary support also. So it's sort of annoying to confirm a put with so many supports that are happening at the moment. So I sold on the 19th. I was like, this looks like support. It was. And I ended up just, and honestly, it just broke out of above again. So yeah. So that was Ulta puts, which was not, it wasn't as clean that I wanted it to be. Because I sort of wish I was able to buy more when it came up, other than just holding on to it. But it was fine. Next one was PTLR. We had that. Joe had an announcement PTLR or PLTR was going red. So on the like a short glimpse, I just checked out. Like, oh whoa. So here's another method how I choose puts. This sort works for hymns. It worked for hymns. It worked for Meta, and it worked for Netflix. This is sort of my old method of finding puts. So what it was, and it's sort of nice to have this too. Sort of verified it. So every time we have something shoot up exponentially, I'll use the 4 hour right here. So right when this green line crosses this black line right here, that indicates a slight weakness. Normally once this cross, it always hits the 20-day moving average every time. So, but the issue was like I didn't know when it was gonna hit that. When it's gonna start breaking down. I had to figure out when it's gonna break down and at what price. So then I used this guy to know what price when it's gonna break down. So I'll restart it. Let's do a replay onto it. So on that day, I forget what price I said. It had to be below 112.30 or something in order to maintain the hold. So I use this 4 hour right here. Right here at this purple crosses above this blue line right here, that sort of indicates its original resistance. So the resistance became the support. So when that crossed above it, down at 11. Was it on the daily I made it? Yeah, it was on the daily. So right here on that daily. So right, super hard to see, super small. But once we have that cross, see that little blip right here? Even though when you zoom in, it looks like it stayed above it the entire time. But you have to fix the chart every time because you see it sort of merged together and it's a small little blip hole right here. That's when it had its resistance. Right when it shoots above that blue line, that became its resistance or support. So I'll make that darker blue line, which was its original resistance. If it doesn't stay above its original resistance, then it will have its downtrend. So it broke below 1846. So the fact that it broke below that 1846, that was like my first. So then I go to the 4 hour, which was its original. Some reason I so that was its original breaking price. So I wanted to verify it. I think I had right here, but I think I considered this intersection right here as its highest point because that's when it had downtrend. So that's when I got that price of 16. It was like 12 something. I forget which price it was. 1234, something like that. Here, let me look at trap. Yeah, this VOD is just gonna be me talking and trying to verify for myself. So let's see. It was 1236. It was 1236. So 1236. That was the price. Let's see. Did I do it based on right here? Oh yeah, I did based it on right there. So 1236. It was right there. I was wrong. I wasn't using this. I was using this as support. So right when the screen crosses black line, that's the support. So yeah, that was the support based on this green line right here. So I'm just gonna change that color to black. So I was for me, I was like, hey, as long as it stays below 1236, that's what I do. But and right when the green crosses um the black trend line and it's crossing the 20-day moving average too, which was when it's like right under it, then I use the daily as like my price target, which is the other 20-day moving average. So I saw it's crossing this black trend line right here. When that green crossed that black, I'm like, hey, my price target was like 102, right? It was 192. I was like, it's a swing trade. Because this is already crossing. We have verification already crossed the 4 hour and 20-day moving average. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do a put, swing put, easy. And we had that verification on that daily right here. It's a super small verification. So if we go to the next day, had that huge drop, and I just sold it right when it got near 102. So then after that, it had that bounce. So next is what's next? Next is I want to do hymns. I said hymns was such a big missed opportunity for us because it's pretty much the same strategy that we use for PTLR or PLTR. right. Oh, we're in 30 minutes. So we'll stick with the daily. So daily, we had a confirmation on this day. I think I already did coin put, so I didn't really care about anything else. Right when the green line crossed that black line right here, it would go towards its 20-day moving average, which it did. It got really close to it. Uh, so we'll do a replay on it right there. So right here on that day when it was closing, that green line sort is crossing the black trend line. We zoom onto it, it looks good, but see how it's crossing right here? That's our indication of like, hey, I should probably look into doing some puts. But I need to verify on the 4 hour, so I use the 4 hour to verify it. On the 4 hour, remember my original support, if it breaks below it, was right when this green line crosses black line. So, and we could ignore this one. It has to be the most recent one. So this was its original support, stayed above it. So we go to the next one. That was its old 4 hour support, which was right here. I got that line based off right the same thing. Right when that green line crossed that black line, it's retesting its support. So once that crosses, ideally it will go down to its 20-day moving average on the 4 hour. Sadly, this doesn't give us too much information. This only gave us the breakout and the continuous uptrend. So normally it sort of exhausts itself every time once the purple line crosses this blue line right here. That's normally a level of exhaustion when it's slowing down, but it could easily still shoot up. So we're mainly just focusing on this guy saying it's too high. 2 hour right here, we already verified like, hey, it already crossed the 2 hour for this green and this black, and we know it'll hit the 20-day move, which it did, and it held up. So the thing is, what would made me do puts? I would have done puts for. I wouldn't have done a swing trade put. I would have done a put for next week because this was on Thursday. Doing a swing trade put on him. Also another indication that I knew Hims was slowing down. Right when this purple line crossed that blue line, that's another level thing. Like it's sort of exhausting itself too. So then I would like down put for next week and my target price, which would be that 20-day moving average, which would be 47 45. So if you go press next, it goes straight down to 49. Makes sense. Earnings is coming up though, so I don't trade for earnings. So when's earnings? Monday. So ideally, it could have been a swing trade, knowing that earnings was on Monday, but I sort of wanted the safety net, so you could have just bought it for next week. Never good to have next day puts or swings, unless it's like unless you're like super confident on it. Last but not least, let's go over coin puts because that's our current hold that we have right now. So let's head over to coin. So here's all the lines. We'll just erase them like nothing happened. Oh, I removed my indicators. I don't want that. Remove. Coins are doing amazing. Holy shit. I didn't imagine it going down this much. Sort of crazy. So let's go back. Let's do replay on it. So right before it broke, say right here. So for now, this is sort of nothing. Wait the day. So right here. Oh, actually, I forgot to reset the chart. So for right here on the daily, I'm just making my supports. I always start on the daily, make my supports right now. So let's go to always reset it. Always have to reset it. So you see how it crossed right here, where that purple line crossed that red. I don't. I always want to move one over to make sure to verify on those values. And we'll use the yellow as its support. So I don't want to do it right onto it. I always want to move it over. So right here is the intersection of that point where that purple and that red is. So I'll just move it over, and that's my support. And the support was, what price was it on? And I'm not using closing or opening prices. I'm only using high or low prices. So the lowest point was 274.56. So 274.56. We're right on it. Perfect. So I do have to. So what also scared me with Coinbase was I had to double check its other support on this chart right here. So remember what I said, when the green line crosses that black line right here and it's under this dotted line, that is considered as a support. So we'll make a yellow line right here. And we'll make it a dash line for this top area because it has dash marks, so we're using dash marks right here. So it already broke the daily support for this guy. It hasn't really broken this one yet. So now we need to go over to verify on the 4 hour. I'm gonna get rid of this so we have more space to look at. So now always reset your chart. So on the 4 hour for this guy right here, the price was it was, what's the lowest point? It was 266.17. 266.17. So on the daily, I use the daily like, hey, I'm having this downtrend. How do I know that? This line started crossing the red line right here. Also, we have a resistance right here. So every time this purple line crosses this red line above the median black line, that is its resistance, which made sense. Right here, that's the resistance right here. I always have to reset the chart every time because every time you zoom in, that's also considered as resistance, which it is, but always zoom out. So right when this purple line crosses that red line and this blue line right here, that's considered heavy resistance. It's a heavy resistance for this one. So I know that there's a heavy resistance. I know that I already broke the daily support, which is yellow, and it's breaking the 4 hour support on this one. But I have to check on this guy to verify, like, hey, it's on its 4 hour support on this one right now. So right now it's creating its 4 hour support. I could look at its old support on this 4 hour, which is it matches up with this yellow line. See right here how it crossed right here. Also, we have a let's zoom out to verify. Yeah. Also, we have a resistance on the 4 hour. So this 4 hour resistance right here makes sense. I would have done calls on coin if it broke above the two blue lines. So once it breaks the blue sky, then huge uptrend. But it didn't. So I'll be looking up. And it broke the heavy support on this guy too. So to me, I was like, I'm probably gonna do something. I wonder when did I do that? I did. I bought those puts on the 20th. So today was the 18th. Makes sense. I wanted to verify it. Also, I had to go to the 2 hour to verify it too. Right when that green crossed that black line, I consider that as a support. support trend line. So this is when it sort of got nerve wracking a little bit later. So we'll wait on the next day. I haven't bought it in yet. Haven't bought it in yet. So bam. So right when it crossed, it's first support trend line. But once I zoom out, it doesn't look like this green line crossed that black line. So now it's telling me, just wait a little bit longer. I'm like, fine, I'll wait a little bit longer. I'll just move it down, and I'll wait till it bounces right off of it. Bam, right here. That's uh, that's sort of an indication when I bought my put. So when it broke that purple line right here, which it was the 20th, it is the 20th right here. Yep, right on the 20th. I did a put. So the one thing was sort of nerve wracking was I thought I messed up on this put because of this old daily support line. Even though it's old, it's still a support. So now I was slightly worried that this daily support will hold up, but I was sort of confident in the holding on to my put because I had for next week too. So even though it was Thursday, it's like I'll wait it out and sort of see what happens. I'll just cut my losses if it stays above this purple line. So then, and also this yellow line right here on the daily, that's considered as its new resistance. Uh, Going back to the 4 hour, we had a cross on the 4 hour right here too. So we had a cross on the yellow and that red. So once I have a crossing on that yellow and that red line, and the red line is the 4 hour support. And where did I get this 4 hour support? I got this 4 hour support, this red line for this guy right here. Red line matches up. If it crosses this red, which is this red right here, do a put. Also verify the other support when the green line crosses that black line. That is support. If it breaks below those, so we have 3 breaks. We have a break on the daily, we have a break on the 4 hour on the red, and we have a break on the 4 hour on the yellow. And the 4 hour on yellow is this guy right here. So I could add a note like right here. I use this for keyboards are messed up. 4 hour support. And we'll make this yellow. I wonder. And we'll turn this yellow. That's the 4 hour support yellow, and this is support. And that's the red one. So that's the yellow orange line, and this is the red line. Remember the yellow one was the daily. So it broke about that. It broke the 2 hour trend line, which we created. So that's when I did its put. And I was just hoping as long as it stays uh so we're in the 2 hour right now. As long as it stays below this 2 hour trend line. So then next day, it shoots up. This is when I started like getting nervous. Like, oh man, if it breaks above this red line and this yellow, then it would be a call. So, that was on the end of the day, Thursday. So part of me was like, oh, I should probably hold on to it. Because it stayed below the red line and also it stayed below. And that's when I sort of said on that time near closing, I said like, hey, this is sort of a good price to buy in. Which is every time it crosses this purple line, it always wants to come back to it every time it breaks it. So it's sort of nice indication to buy at a good price. Also, it's below the 4 hour support. So I was like, great, I'm gonna hold on to it. So next morning, I slept in, and so even though if I slept in or I stayed awake, when I saw the opening was up here, Yeah, I got super nervous, but the thing is, it was still below the and I was pretty much waiting, like, does it stay below this orange line? That became its resistance, and also this yellow too, which is super high. So I was like, you know what? I'll just wait it out because it's the first 30-minute of market opening. Ideally, I don't take any data from the first 30 minutes when the market opens. So I was like, I'm just gonna wait. Also, when am I gonna sell it too? And I used the 30-minute window. Let's get rid of all these lines because we have our confirmation break and it's sort of happening right now. So we'll remove all these lines and we go to the 30-minute window. And the first intersection I saw, I was like, oh wow, is it really gonna go all the way down to 215? I was like, no way. So I just move over, move over. Okay, here are the other intersections. And remember this red line right here and this blue line. The red is the 20-day moving average. The blue line's the 50-day moving average. So I use those intersections, which is like right here. Yeah, you just have to keep on scrolling back once you see those intersections. So now 240 is my price target. My original price target was it 255? I think that was the original uh price. So the fact that it stayed below that, that became a support too. So yeah, those 30 minutes are also considered as support. So the fact that it stayed below 255, because even though it popped up, I was like, oh man, what happens if it comes right back up? But the fact that in my head is like, as long as it stays below 255, I'll be fine on that day. So, which it did, and it really broke below 240 because at that point I was like, whoa, it's hitting my target way faster than it really needs to be. So, ideally, this is sort of like the time to sell it, right? But it broke below it. So, the fact that it broke below 240 on that day, I was like, I'm gonna hold on to it. If the I'll sell it if it breaks above 240. If it doesn't, I'm gonna hold on to it. So it didn't. So I'm holding on to it. So now I have to go back to my 30-minute and see like what's the next intersection. Next intersection is 235. It got pretty close to that price, and after that, the lowest it's the huge downtrend price. It's 222. So part of me is like, ooh, 222 is super low. I think that's very hopeful thinking. So what I could see happening on the next day, uh, it could have a bounce up and have a continuous uptrend. I could have sold it on that Friday, but I had the mindset of like, as long as it stays below 240, I'm gonna hold on to it. Also, what else told me to hold on to it was the 4-hour support. So as this sort of intersected right here, this sort of created a new 4-hour support. So, which was right there. And the price was what, 242.55. So in my head, because these yellow ones are a very big indicator of for a continuous downtrend. As long as it stays below that, then I could just hold on to it because I had it for next week. So in my head, it's like, well, I'm just gonna hold on to it, even though it's right here my target price. So like maybe 22 could be very possible. Um, and my full on selling point when I said I might sell on Monday because I'm waiting for this green line to intersect this black line. It's already touching, like this one right here. Uh, but I think it wasn't crossing or it wasn't touching until the market closed. So ideally, I'm waiting for it on Monday, right when it crosses. That's indication of it's finding support. So probably on Monday morning, I might sell right away. Regardless of what price it is, this is showing a heavy indication of support. But it could still have a continuous downtrend. Because on the next day, if it's still below that price from Monday, if Tuesday, if it's below this yellow line, which I might make, whatever support it makes on Monday, if it's below that, it could have like a heavy continuous downtrend. And if I look in the week where he says it's already continuous downtrend, it already broke its 20-day moving average. I could look into the month. And also the weekly was like another indication of a continuous downtrend. The fact that it broke this price right here, which was like what, 236, that was like another indication to sell it. Also, my bad on the audio. Like, I'm trying to fix my mic. I keep on going away from it, so I'm trying to maintain good audio. But as of right now, I know this video is not really that great, and it's a lot of information. I'm just raw dogging it and just throwing it out there. I'm just trying it out. So as of right now, I'm gonna try and make more videos. They're not gonna be the best videos. It's mostly gonna be me rambling. I don't have the time to edit all the videos. So as of right now, I'm gonna keep it like this. This is how I'm going to explain most of my charts. And for now, I'm just putting the information out there. It's not gonna be perfect. Try and nitpick it if you can. But yeah. But thanks for hanging around. And that's it for right now for the puts. I have to make another video for calls. So yeah. So right now those were just only puts.